Hey, how are you doing? How is everybody? How are you doing? I'm gonna play drums to the town below with the windows open. Hi. Okay, here's what we're doing. Here is what we're doing. This drum set is going to be played by me for the first time. In, I don't know, a few months. I'm going to play this drum set to the entire town below. I am going to play this drum set to the entire town below. Here's the window. It's opened. It's open for good, right? For actual good. Not forever. You ever would moronically interpret that the wrong way? It'd have to be an absolute fool. Okay, get this door open. Someone with a spear. And guess what? They don't do that anymore. So there's nothing wrong with referencing it. Okay. How's it going? How's it going? Hey. How's everybody? I'm going to play drums to the entire town below. Here's the town. You can open up the screen. No bugs now. It's like almost January. We're going to play drums to the town below. We are going to play drums. If you want to play, if you consider watching me, I'm going to start playing drums. I'm going to go in the other room for better sound because I don't have different whatever. I'll put it on a chair. Whoa. It is a cold day and I've got the door open. I like it better that way sometimes. I was lifting weights in here. Okay, I'm going to play the drums to the town below. I looked up the noise ordinances. And there aren't really any noise ordinances. I can read them to you if you want. I have it in another window. It says between the hours of 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. it's okay in my wherever. So as you can see here, the door is wide open. The window is wide open. So I'm going to turn it here to the drums. play some drums. See if I can get a wider angle of the place. All right, I'll just play some drums. You can see the doors open right here. I'm trying to be happy and do what makes me feel happy. So I'm going to play the drums. Okay, I'm going to play some drums. Because actually, I could put a different shirt on. I don't know. It doesn't make it that much of a difference. Okay, I'm going to go. I'm just going to play. I'm going to play the drums. I'm going to rest. So that was playing drums, and I may play more drums. Not sure exactly if I will or not. That was the first time I ever played drums in my whole life, my entire life. The first time I ever played drums. I'm joking. I've played since I was 10 or 11 years old. Okay. So that was me playing drums. It's me playing drums right here. Clean the floor up. There's a microphone. I actually wanted to sing. Here's the town below. I could yell out there. Hi. I have a Slayer idea in my mind, the band Slayer. Ghosts of War. You know, I'm not going to play it. I don't want them around here. If I play a different variation of it, a parody on it, Ghosts of Peace, that would be a big anxiety one. That would be a big anxiety. Like a Charlie Sheen type person saying, instead of some big popular thing, Gone with the Wind, Arriving with the Wind. No, it would be a cheesy, big anxiety thing. Everyone is like that. Everyone associates with a certain thing unanimously across America and first world countries. Everyone associates it with that, and then trying to say the opposite of it wouldn't make as much sense. There could be Ghosts of War here who fought in wars and came back here and died here. Ghosts of War. Try to play that one. I'll play something else. Whoa. Open up the door. So that's me playing drums to the town below. It's me playing drums to the town below. Here's the town below. Here's the drums. Here's the drums. There's the drums. Here's the town below. Town below. Town below. Here's the drums. Okay, that's it. That's it. Bye. Might answer some of the questions. Stabbed it like an Indian. Either making fun of some idiot that would do that, or standing up for war, ghosts of war, right? Ghosts of war, standing up for all the inherent war in America, in every country, pretty much every country that goes to war. That stab of a symbol is what every American flag stands for. Stabbing people overseas and killing them, right? I love it. Make America great again. That's a ridiculous existence can be, but at the same time, so cool. It's really cool hurting people. So I stabbed a freaking symbol instead of. So I stabbed a freaking symbol, which cannot be hurt by a simple stab like that. I'm sure of it. Sure. I have another one of these symbols. Might as well get some production value out of it. Ah! Here's a symbol. No damage done to it. I guess I'm a pansy. I don't know how to stab things properly. No, I'm not. Great. Okay. That's me playing drums. I feel happier and healthier. I feel happier and healthier. Well, I feel okay. Here are the drums in perfect condition. Pretty much. I didn't hurt the cymbal by stabbing it. like Hugh J. Noose. At least it was just an inanimate thing. And I don't really hurt my stuff. Generally try not to. There's the town below. There's the town below. There's the drums. Here's the town below. The town below. I don't know what the sound quality was like, but I'm sure it was okay from here, at least, and probably there. Probably there. Probably okay. Here's door opened. Here's the town below. There is the town below. There's the town below. There's the town below. There's the town below. There is the town below. The town below. I'm gonna scream out to the. I could scream out to the town below. I could scream out to the town below. Hey, y'all! It's a mountain man. I'm a man. What are you doing? Hey, woodpecker. It's a woodpecker. That's G-rated. You're allowed to yell and be loud after 8 a.m. every morning. America! What are you going to do about it, woodpecker? You're my friend. You don't push a mountain man or he gets PO'd. Might put on a woman's dress like Nirvana. Only lived to be 120 years old. Yeah, mountain man. Hello? What are you going to do, boy, when the Leroy comes down on you? What are you going to do when the mountain man brings you into his home? In a movie, to be kind to you and slowly put his hands across your hair. And then you're the mountain man's friend. In a movie that he filmed of you. And of course, you'll always be okay because all his movies are good. Well, they have been so far, at least. They're really nice and good. Right? Whole town. You love me. You love me, and there's nothing you can do about it because it's good. Subliminally, you are my supporters out there in this whole town. Ha ha ha! Like the Beatles. Maybe I'll play a backwards record to all of you. Ha ha ha! I've never done that before. My movies so far have been good and G-rated and R-rated, but still good
and kind. And even if I did brainwash you all, it would be in a nice, good way to help all of you, because I've always done good in my creative stuff. In my good movie stuff. What are you going to do about it, Roanoke? Roanoke, Virginia. I'm one of you, fitting right in. Of course, I support all of you to be the best you can. All right, I'm going in. It's cold for a mountain man. Close this. Cold. Yeah. 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 Now I'm happy. Now I'm happy being myself. Now I'm happy being myself, not their don't want to talk about it, don't want to talk about it. It's okay to. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. We all have to work regular jobs sometimes. Yeah. There's the drums, and there's the yelling out to the, or playing drums to the. Let's go one more thing on the drums. One more thing in the drums. It is cold. It is kind of cold. I'm going to warm my hands up. Whoa.
I'm just mountain man in the cold. Mountain man in the cold. The cold weather. Mountain man, big man in the cold. Mountain man in the cold. Cold with the window open. Window open. There's the window. You do what everyone else says, they'll push you to your death. No one cares that much about you more than themselves in most every scenario. You have to stand up for yourself. In some situations, some people have a parent or someone like that who cares about them more. If you're a child, you're okay. Your parents care about you the most usually. Usually your parents are going to care about you, but if you put your life in their hands as an adult, you could be dead. You could be dead. You could literally be dead if you put your life in other people's hands. It's not going to work. Wow. You put your life in other people's hands and keep doing what they say, going along with them, you will literally be digging your own grave. You got to do what makes you happy, almost no matter what in some circumstances, because they'll push you to your death. It's not all happy and fun all the time. And you got to do whatever the F you feel like that makes you happy and stand up for yourself. And, you know, unless you have children or someone to take care of, those people will literally maybe push you to your death. You got to stand up for yourself. Do whatever makes you happy on earth. Do what makes you happy. If you're already happy, you don't have it that bad. There's only so much you can take before they'll have you dying, going to the other side so they can be happy in nature on earth. You gotta stand up for yourself and keep living. Sometimes almost any way you can. Whether it's scaring off those people to stand up for yourself because they're walking on you. I don't know. You gotta like. I don't have all the timeless philosophical answers of all time, but I know that you can't put your life in other people's hands almost 100% of the time. Just do whatever feels happy for yourself. Do whatever feels happy for yourself. Whatever feels happy for yourself, because they are out for themselves almost all the time. They can be happy and nice when it's a fair weather or a little bit difficult things. A lot of them care about you a lot. But if you put all your health and everything in their hands and try to act like everything's okay, you don't look out for it, they'll attack you and try to almost push you to your death or retrain your brain and have you functioning any way they feel like it, some of those people. So you gotta stand up for yourself, or else you'll be, I mean, literally as an adult, you could be dead, we could all be dead. You gotta do what makes you happy and feel your best and healthiest and strongest. And look out for where those things are coming from that are hurting you. Unless it's just, I can't imagine because those people have literally almost killed me a lot of times. The mother of my children, my kids haven't done it. Well, the neglect they put me through for years, taking my children away from me wasn't the most healthy, nicest feeling thing ever. Well, I was continually emotionally supporting them every way they could so they could be all the famous stuff that we talked about, all the entertainment stuff that I worked at for 20 or 30 years, that I emotionally supported them in everything to be the best they could, which they kept taking that and feeling good about that. Not my kids, but her. And then, who cares what's happening to me? Is he dead? I don't know. Not going to respond to his message. So they're my closest loved ones, and I don't hurt them. I don't hurt them back. But sometimes you got to look out for yourself and stop constantly being there for other people who, I can be there for my kids, but not the people who are like causing you to suffer. Just do whatever makes you feel happy sometimes. Or if you have to, just do whatever makes you feel happy. So many people I've been having to, I don't want to talk about it. I don't know if I'm a jerk or what, but I'm not gonna allow myself to be like dead. These people, you can't. I'm not necessarily a Trump supporter, but I say those people sometimes. Those people. Well, I don't know if I'm hurting anyone by being myself. What's this? That's good. Would you prefer to not see me? Face. Yeah. Whoa. 2 people watching. There were 7 people watching. It's pretty ridiculous. It's like, how good somebody have to look. This shadow right here is not looking that great in my face. Maybe I'm doing to my looks. I really worked hard. I put myself under so much stress and worked so hard on this house that it nearly killed me this year. People didn't give a fuck what happened to me. I thought I was so young and healthy appearing and healthy. Thought, who gives a fuck about him? Right when he's almost dead, throw a cold at him, give him a cold the very next day when I was almost put in the emergency room. That's how I was treated by people in my family. I'm not going to name names of who, but that's how they treated me. That's how they treated me, left me for fucking dead. You got to stand up for yourself. You got to stand up for yourself, or they don't give a fuck if you're dead. What are they going to do about it? Don't fuck with me, people out there, because I follow the law perfectly. I follow the law perfectly. And they'll try to push you to your death. They'll try to push you to your death. Guess who's going to fucking die? Who follows the law perfectly the most and is the strongest in nature? If it's between one of two people, one person's having trouble going on living, then you know what? Fuck you. Fuck. That's how I genuinely feel about someone who's trying to kill me. So I genuinely feel about someone who's trying to kill me. It's normal to stand up for yourself if someone's trying to kill you. Right? It's perfectly normal to defend yourself if your life is under attack, like our military does in this country. I think that's okay. I don't necessarily support, fighting in wars, but hey, if they're trying to attack you and kill you, you have to fight back. You have to fight back. I don't like war. I don't like war, generally speaking. I don't like fighting. But if they're trying to kill you, you have to fight back because they are horrible, awful people. If they're struggling to survive and be mean, they literally don't give a fuck if you're dead, and they think that it's not really going to happen. They try to push and push me till I was almost dead. Not push me to be my best, that's for sure. Try to light a fire under my ass to have a ridiculous work ethic of 18 hours a day. Those people try to push you. You gotta say, fuck you. Fuck you. Don't attack me. Because you know what? On YouTube, you're allowed to show this. You're allowed to show. I can't always be G-rated. I didn't curse that much in this video. Most of this video is me playing drums. I can make it G-rated. So far, I don't know what the. Hey, what are you doing? What are you looking for? Get out of here. Get out of here. I have had to survive like every other human being has had to in nature. I've had to survive like every other human being has had to in nature. Because the people closest to me did not give a fuck if I was dead. Because they're standing up for themselves and whatever problems that we're all in a crisis situation. Apparently every human being is in a real some of them are in a real crisis situation. Some have monetary troubles. Some of them I'm going to show off the video because I prefer to be a kind, nice, good person who doesn't ever have to worry about calling out people for whatever problems they're going through. Because they keep trying to push you and stand up for themselves. It's like no one would give a fuck if I was dead out in these fucking woods. So I gotta be the most powerful one. I gotta be the most powerful one. Keep being nice, keep being nice, keep being nice, turning the other cheek like Jesus. Keep turning the other cheek like Jesus. They'll stab the fuck out of you, rip your ribs in half, and crucify you. They're all evil as fuck when they have to survive. It's horrible. It's sin. It's inherent sin in nature that's inescapable. The only one who didn't do it apparently was Jesus, but we all do it. It's horrible. It's inescapable. You keep turning the other cheek being nice. Do you want to be crucified in a... I don't want to talk about it. It would be 10 to 100 times as bad as whatever they did to Jesus. They didn't hurt him that bad. Would they cut his side, starve him a little, put him on a cross, stab some shit through his hands and feet? That's not that much suffering. You know what they could just do to his asshole? With all those people, the evil and the hellish stuff that may be inside of this whole earth. We only know 1/1000th of it, of the surface. There's a whole world of hell with all those people that kept being mean as shit to everybody. Not like Jesus. Got brought down to the inside, tormented, huge rich, some of it big rich facilities that have underground, maybe not, where they torment people, keep them alive with genetic manipulation so they can constantly torture them. The Nazis wanted genetic manipulation. I think it's all inside. Could be a real thing that's part on the Earth's surface and part below. But you know what? When I believed in that stuff was when I was getting big and powerful out there years ago. When I became a kind person, all that worry went away. All that worry went away. It doesn't really exist. I go out there, I have no worry. I have no worry about big political stuff. That's not my life. That's okay. The right wing, left wing, whatever. That America's good. People like me made sure America was good and okay. People like me out there, they also tried to get it to be great. Get it to be great so others wouldn't attack us and kill us. We had to. It was like too far with Obama. But and we had to stand up for the great stuff and the good stuff, so nobody would be tortured here. They wouldn't they wouldn't round them up or some horrible evil thing you should never say. And now, after being kind for a year or two, I started getting money from someone else who got really pissed off. Made me work really hard to where I was almost dead. And then after I almost died one night, the next day he comes over and gives me a horrible cold when I still wasn't fully recuperated from it. And about 10 or 20 things like that attacked me ever since I've been getting money from them. Because they're barely surviving or something. I don't know. This is just my philosophical wondering what it's all about. I don't have all the right answers. And ever since they took my family away from me, that's put a pressure on me. So I had to survive. I had to survive in nature according to survival of the fittest, which is a very dangerous thing if you get too much into that, which goes into intentional meanness towards others with your thoughts. You got to follow the law perfectly if you don't want to get hurt. You can attain almost anything you want on earth if it's tangible, and if it's or if it's a carnal worldly pleasure. You can get anything you want on earth through meanness, intentional meanness to anyone around you, or in very particular ways at a big political level. However, you're going to be hurting yourself eventually. There's a thing called karma, but we don't want to necessarily call it that, because some Christian people, they're against think it sounds Indian or whatever, but I don't know how else to describe it other than karma. It's going to hurt all those people back every time you're mean to everyone else. So the whole point is to be as good as you can. The whole purpose is to be as good as you can. But if it's killing you and it's too much and it feels like you're literally about to die or worse, then you have to stand up for yourself in nature. And just like, if somebody's coming up behind you to rape you, just like, literally raping your ass, coming up behind you, it's okay to give them an elbow to their head, break parts of their neck so that it doesn't permanently kill. But, if they're raping you, you got to stand up for yourself. If they're not usually going to be raping you. This is all in your thoughts. It's all in your thoughts, not in real life. I've never had to do anything like that in real life. I call the police. Or if I had to, I'd stand up for myself if that was the only way. That's why I like to stay. That's why I like to keep pretty strong. That's why right now holding these, I weigh 400 pounds. I'm generally a good, kind person. I'm generally a good, kind person. I'm generally a good, kind person. They tried to hurt me recently. Really tried to hurt me recently. And I've learned how to survive and be strong in nature. Other people might survive in a different way, but we all survive. We all have to survive in nature. We all have to survive in nature. So if they're pushing you to your death, you gotta be yourself, or you gotta get to that place where you can be kind and nice and happy again. Or if you think the things you're really standing up for are really that good and they're killing you, just let them kill you. And I think some people, when they get to the end of their lives, they want to stand up for a good cause, and they don't care if it's killing them, and they let it kill them. It can suck. People have to die and do stuff like that, but don't do that. Don't do that. Better just be happy. I haven't had the luxury of getting to just be happy and good and eat whatever foods I want. However, when I was working 18 hours a day, overloaded with a pile of stress on my shoulders, constantly working, trying to get this whole house ready so my family would have somewhere to stay. And at the end of it, when I was nearly dead, they bought a brand new house. She bought a brand new house for them to live in. And then it felt like I was going to die. And I cried at my lowest point. I cried out for help to a neighbor. I was in the woods alone. I could not breathe. I was on the road. I had to sit down. I had this big, heavy sweatshirt covered in paint, not building materials, but bleach. Um, it's around here somewhere. It's this big, heavy sweatshirt that looked like it was like a bunch of fat rolls, and I did it to like save money on heat and to have something that would like keep me warm through the whole winter time. Ended up just standing up for everyone close to me so much they didn't give a fuck if I died when I was out in the woods alone, literally nearly dead, could barely breathe, covered in paint from working 18 hours a day for most of this year. Most of this year, starting in the summer when I started working in the house, still wasn't good enough for her. Just got a new house instead, like she always wanted. That has nothing cool or original about it. My house is probably maybe worth about the same as hers. I don't know, but to her, it's never good enough. Has to be brand new. Has to be brand new every inch of it. And to my other family members who helped me or my other family, I hope they're okay, and I hope she's okay because they didn't mean it. They weren't aware that it was hurting me as much as it was. They couldn't fathom. They thought, "What are you talking about? You have everything the best. There's nothing wrong with you." So they're trying to like almost give me problems. They thought there's like nothing wrong with me. I was under a tremendous amount of stress. Under a tremendous amount of stress. And I just want to get, in better shape, good looking, really good looking. If they try to do anything about it, if they want to push me to my death, it's all on them, whoever it is. I don't mean to be that way, but I love them, and I hope they're okay and they live long, healthy lives. But I can't keep emotionally supporting all of them. They're gonna have to see what it's like without me standing up for them. I'm just gonna stand up for myself. I'm just gonna stand up for myself. So I literally probably saved many people's lives. I was so kind to them as I was being funded to stand up for other people and then being okay. I reached out to one more just the other day. It felt like I was going to die again. I think it was 2 nights ago. I was feeling happy and healthy, lifting weights. I was feeling good, like I was attractive and look good. Whatever makes me feel happy, that could change. And then I had a close relative who I had been wanting to reach out to for a long time. And I thought I'll do it now while I can, but it was the wrong timing. I was just getting better from nearly almost being dead. It felt like, or hospitalized, probably just hospitalized. I think it was all stress related. And I tried to reach out to him with all my might right as I was getting better. And it just pulled me down to like near death, to be kind to him, to be kind and show him love like Jesus. He just tried to like empower himself over at it, or like feel good about like he was getting. You can't reach out to help somebody if you're in a position where you're not strong enough. That's just how it is. You have to stand up for yourself in nature, or any way, not literally any way you can, because any way you can may be really being mean. There's some things about it you don't want to do to hurt others. There's only so many people I could help. It's like while they're funding me, I probably saved the lives or extended their lives by many years. One person to a second person. I helped all these other people put all the weight on my shoulders, all the stress weight and everything on my shoulders. And just as I was starting to get better from being afraid of dying out here, I reached out to one more person to help him up that the funding me mentioned in a text. Remember this person. And then sure enough, I went along with trying to be kind to that person who was giving me money or helping me with money. I tried to reach out to the one person. I could barely, whatever it was, I'll just tell the truth. I could barely breathe every breath. I could barely breathe for hours. Felt like I was going to die. I don't know how I made it through the night until I finally got up. Didn't give a fuck about any fuck in my life besides my kids, because they were all pushing me to my death. I was almost dead. This was another time that I almost died, barely making it through the night, every breath agonizing, feeling like if I kept this up for a little while longer, surely I'd die. Surely I'd die. And the only way I could get out of it was by attacking every fuck in my life who had money and power and don't give a fuck if they're dead. And then I could breathe again. I could actually breathe. And I felt okay again, because not giving a fuck if they're dead doesn't mean I'm causing them to die. It's just that I was pretty mean in my thoughts, though, because I had to survive. And then I can start feeling happy again when someone's not literally trying to cause me to die. I don't know how else to say it. While they just have some anxiety and they think that they might die because of some stupid little surgery they had a few years ago, and they're hyped up on caffeine and nicotine, and they're worried about, they're trying to look as young as they can. They're trying to look 30 years younger and act like they can still have a baby when they're like way older than me, and literally attacking every fuck around them just because they have some anxiety because they had some surgery that they think they could get some disease and die, or it's like nonsense, attacking every fuck around them high on caffeine. High. That'd be funny. And they just these are all things that went on in my mind. They're all things that went on in my mind. So I don't know if it's true or not. And I could see them in real life. I mean, I could see them hyper on caffeine, tons of caffeine, smoking cigarettes here and there, not that many, but still using nicotine, way older than me. And I won't smoke. I don't use any nicotine at my age. Why risk your health? 40% of everybody gets cancer, and they're so worried. Like literally trying to be healthier than everyone younger than them, the generation younger than them. Like that's fair. Out of a fear that they could die, way overcompensating. So I was like, getting the fuck away from those people. Getting the fuck away from those people. One of them just gave me this cold. Like after I was almost dead, they came over and gave me a cold to make sure, see how much I can withstand, just because I'm younger than them and they have whatever problems they're going through, or they think that they thought it's not going to kill you, but they wouldn't say. And they just didn't get it. I looked at him right in the eyes and I said, since summer, I have worked harder during that time than you have ever. I don't know about everyone on here, but I looked him right in the eyes and said, I have worked harder than you've ever worked in your life during that time period, during any other time period in your life. And I looked at him right in the eyes and said that, and said it to the other one. They just didn't get it. You don't work. They think that I don't work. I'm investing in real estate. This house is a piece of real estate that is worth a lot of money. This is an amazing house. It's an amazing house. I fixed it up pretty good. And it's like, I don't get them really. I don't get them. I feel sorry for them because I don't know how healthy they are. It's like the people in my close family and friends and stuff like that. And I'm tired of I'm tired of even talking to them ever. From what I've been through, I'm going to take a break and not talk to them, or because they just don't understand. They're like out to live any way they can, almost. And it's like none of them have ever helped me with much of anything unless I was a kid, besides money. Besides money. I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I guess I could play the drums again. Like literally the only good pair of jeans I have when I'm all cleaned up and have these clean clothes on. When I'm all cleaned up and have these clean clothes on, it's like these jeans have stuff on them. I got in better shape. I like looking good. Yeah. I was almost dead. So heavy feeling, having to work. 2 years full-time job since this summer. Fuck them. Fuck that. They'll never learn till you're dead. Till you're dead, they'll keep pushing you. This fucking people. You got to stand up for yourself. Whoever those people are. And I'm not talking about black people either. Unless their soul's fucking black. They can fuck off. Here's the window open. And here's the drum set. If you don't like it, who cares? If you don't like it, who cares? Who cares about them? I won't say if I care about them or not. And then that little bit of kindness toward them try to like push me in a fucking grave. So you know what? I don't give a fuck about them. Fuck you. Fuck. They literally had me almost dead, as they would say it. Probably. You gotta stand up for yourself. It's looking for something. It's not gonna hurt them that bad. We all die. If I say they're gonna be dead, we all die. I'm gonna die. I'm not gonna start talking about me being dead in a kind way to them. So they fucking try to attack me and have me dead. I don't know. Really, 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 really annoying. And the people who I don't know, who I'm not close to, probably maybe even worse. Maybe even worse. I don't know. I don't talk to them that much. Some of them are nice. It feels good it feels happy when I talk to them. Usually people that are strangers, they don't attack me as much recently or these days. But there are people who are close to me who are very kind as much as they can. They don't realize they're hurting me. I think, how could it hurt them? I don't know. I haven't figured it out, but all of us are alive and well. I don't want any of us to die soon. Maybe when I say if they're going to die, they're going to die when they're however old, like we all die. I'm going to play the drums. This is Wayne and Garth. Wayne and Garth. I don't know if you some jerk in junior high used to do. I don't know who the fuck that guy is. I'm not going to be. If you give certain people an inch, they will fucking kill you. So I'm afraid to give them an inch. They'll instantly say you got a little dick that's an inch and you're dead. So, hey, fuck you. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck if they're dead, if they're trying to have me dead. I don't give a fuck about them. I'm keeping my channel. I'm keeping everything I do, everything I've worked at for 30 years, since fucking 1987. Those fucks are not going to attack me. Try to push me to my death, attacking everything I enjoy to do in life, having me nearly dead 10 times, and I was still kind to them. Well, guess what? If I go there again, might be dead. That's why if they were behind me right now, I fucking stab them in the head, rip their fucking face in half if they're trying to kill me like a soldier in war. If I was in a war. But I've never had to be in a war. Never had to be in a war. I've never had to be in a fucking war. So don't hurt me. Because I never hurt people in real life. I've never done that in real life. But you know what? If they're trying to hurt me like that, that might be the kind of magic that they get to experience. I'm tired of them fucking attacking me. I'm tired of them fucking attacking me. I would never do that in real life. The people who funded me went from me being so kind and loving that I could turn my back to anyone for a year or two and expect only kindness and love. When they started funding me, they tried to put an end to that. They tried to make my life a hell. Because they were jealous that they had to be mean to others to be doing whatever the fuck they were doing. And they took my year or two of almost no sin, kindness to everyone, try to push me to my death. If someone is trying to push you to your death, you have to fight them back. Okay? So even if you were stabbing them in the chest and fucking cutting their whole body in half to make sure that they wouldn't kill you, think about it. In war, that happens. In the police, they shoot fucking people and kill them. They shoot people and kill them. In our police, that's regular. That is normal. They carry a gun, so if some horrible, evil fuck is trying to kill you or kill us, they can shoot them in the fucking head or stop them and shoot them in the heart and fucking make them dead. If they're trying to attack some fuck. If they're trying to kill someone. Bank robbers who are armed with guns ready to kill people. All those evil fucking people. It's just a part of America. Unfortunately. I'd like to be the most kind, liberal person on earth. I would love to be the most kind, peaceful, liberal person on earth. And I keep trying for that against all their bullshit. I keep trying for that. They want to hurt me. They want to stick this symbol in my mouth and hurt me with it. Cut their fucking head in half. Not literally. Not in real life. This is the thing you have to understand. You don't do that in real life. You don't physically hurt anyone in real life. You don't physically hurt anyone in real life. You don't hurt anyone in real life. It's all in your brain to defend yourself. It's all in your brain to defend yourself. They may have the most evil, hellish, nightmarish thoughts against all the good that you want to stand up for, and use it to be the most popular one in the classroom. I'm the jock who made straight A's because I pressured the teacher, because we had an agreement between the teacher that whatever I wrote in that essay was something that was better than the kid in the back of the classroom who always got shit on and had to suffer until, guess what? Then all the shooters happened. Then they turned into shooters because the number one jock was pressuring them to their death without having to say it aloud. And guess what? As much as I was pressured, I never heard any of them back. And by some miracle, I met a very powerful mentor who followed the law perfectly, who was like the biggest jock of them all. And he's a good guy, but he figured out how to be way stronger than all of them. He's a millionaire. I don't know how many millions of dollars he has. And I learned his ways just in time enough to when I wouldn't have hurt anyone to save my life. They would have all pushed me to my death. All those big jocks, all the popular people, which, I could be a jock too. And now I'd just be friends with them. But all those people that pushed me growing up and, pushes everyone. They push everyone. They make fun of everyone in schools. All those people that were bullies, some of them didn't have to say it out loud because they were so good at following the rule. They're so excellent at they're so not good, but perfect at following the law to where if anyone tried to hurt them, they were under attack. Try to make them into the crazy ones. And I learned someone's ways of doing that as a mentor by watching him very closely and being in his family. He's a good guy, but they pushed him, so he had to get strong in nature. I learned his ways, and I learned how to be the popular jock. But in a way that attacked at the time all the popular jocks and brought socialism and equality in a classroom or in America is what I stood up for. And I had enough. It was either pushed to my death, tortured artist, so kind to everyone like Jesus till I was dead, or I learned this man's good American. He's a man that I learned a lot from, and I learned his way, and I got to be like the jocks. But at first, I wasn't like the jocks. At first, I was a perfect law-abiding citizen, upstanding American who was pushing ideas that had never really been in America. And I was empowered by learning his ways. This very powerful man. He happened to not be a big, mean political person at the political level, but pretty scary. I thought he was an Illuminati when I first met him. I was convinced he was an Illuminati. Terrified of him when I was a kid. And I learned all his ways of being towards others and getting monetary things and things you want to attain on earth. Because before that, they had pushed me. I had done nothing for myself. I was walked on, almost left for dead because I was so kind to everyone like Jesus in my early 20s until I was bedridden and working on my editing for 9 months. Then immediately went to a film school where I lived in poverty and had a ridiculous, stressful schedule. Nearly pushed me to my death. If I was going to die of a heart attack in my early 20s, it was panic attacks. And my brain kind of just snapped. It didn't snap in the right wing way. snapped in what everything I most believed in kindness, but mean in nature and standing up for it at a political level. Any passerby around me didn't give that much of a fuck about because they had never given a fuck about me if I was dying or what happened to me. And I got very strong and powerful. This is when I was more left wing. I've been very right wing, 10 times more powerful than that when I was right wing. It was awful. It was really bad. It was really bad. It was a necessary evil to be carried out in America that they've made me do. They made me do. It felt like MK Ultra or a big, powerful man who knew all the major oil companies and worked for them, who pressured me and a lot of other people. He's all right. He's a good guy. He's not that powerful. He's kind of powerful. He's terrifying now to me. Very Something happened to his brain, got hit in the head. I don't want to talk about it. He's a good guy. He's pretty good. He's good now. He's happy with what happened to the country, so he's taking it easy. He's got more money now. All the political things that he was involved with. But the whole country, I think, could have become a third world uh, country if we kept up that Obama shit. Which I never would have imagined that I'd said that because I stood up for that. He was a selfish man wherever he is. If he's even alive, he could be hiding and have a decoy of him or some shit. He's probably alive. Everyone thinks he's alive. That's crazy to think he's not. There's political people who knows what it. It's just Obama, but I can't. At one time, I was so nice after I was a Republican, I almost thought he was okay again. But he was in it for himself. He was in it to stand up for minorities, which I guess can be a good cause. And he was some conspiracy theorists. I don't know if this is true. They say if you look, they think he may be gay, but I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to say conspiracy theory. So the only reason why he cared about gay and standing up for minority and those types of things is because that's what he liked on himself. On himself. He was big and evil, I think, and standing up for the wrong things that weren't beneficial. It was an attempt to reach out to the terrorists and in kindness, and every last person on earth in equality and kindness, even the gays, without ever having to worry about that, all of them. Back then, I didn't have a worry about any of that. I didn't have a worry about homophobia. I never had to worry about that. Then something happened that totally kind of changed my brain to right-wing stuff. It was terrible. I had been a jerk. I'd been a jerk liberal. And then I kind of calmed down. I had really good abs and shape, but I've produced a whole big movie trying to star myself as this glam rock person that was going to be famous or whatever it was. And by the time I had to produce the whole movie myself, arrange all the people, and to produce the whole movie. So I gained 7 pounds. Gained 7 pounds by the time I filmed, and you couldn't tell I had the abs and everything I was going for. I was just trying to be famous at that point. I was like almost didn't care about filmmaking. I just wanted to be the cool guy in front of the camera, like the glam rockers of the 80s. But it had I was younger. I grew up listening to him when I was like 10 years old in the in their time and in the 90s. I was way younger than those glam rockers. Uh, I don't know how this looks on my face right there. And it's all right. But so I made a whole movie with me as a glam rocker, but it had all good intent. It had some political ideas that I was pushing. It was pretty fun. It was so random. Um, the political ideas. The good that I was pushing was good. All my movies were pretty good. They stood up for good. Um, the Vampires of Zanzibar was good, but Crazy Animal was called One Nation Under God. That was when I was involved in standing up for things politically out there in Southern California. And I started my film school and it was like nearly die. Got so weak I could have died. I'd been bedridden for 9 months. Went right away to film school to work 2 full-time jobs equivalent. It was horrible, and stay in the corner of somebody's one-bedroom apartment where they didn't want me there to save money. And that's the first time I discovered. That's the first time I started acting like all the jocks and being mean to anyone else. Except I was still myself, and I believed in being kind to others. Being kind to others. So all the political ideas I stood up for at the time were making sure everyone in the classroom was okay, even the people who were different. This was in 2004. I got a little weaker, not weaker, but I got a little fat. I gained a little fat on top of my ripped body in 2005, and I still was able to film the rest of the film. I gained up to 20 pounds. Back then, it was just nonsense. I didn't have that many things to worry about with my bad things, with my physical problems. I was worried if somebody thought my face looked bad or if I had too much fat. And I thought I was getting, before all that, I thought I was going to die, but then I got stronger. Um, and I stood up for all these political things, was liberal. Then I stood up for all these things and was a Republican. But it was kind of at a big level. It was at a pretty big level, I guess. Because my grandfather was the chief of the NYPD. He was the most powerful policeman on earth. My grandfather was the most powerful policeman on earth. That's my grandfather. So if you can imagine someone like me having been very liberal and a jerk in Southern California, interacting with all those people, and then back here in Virginia, where I forced me as an artist, I just love art and music and kindness, and always did before that. And then I was a jerk liberal with abs and trying to look like a young Brad Pitt, and went from feeling very confident with that having an influence on people there. But in my family, they try to keep it not famous. They try to keep it not famous when that was all that I was trying to do because of all the suffering. They kept my shirt on me growing up. They made me like overeat, and it was all right. I guess I had a really good childhood. They weren't that bad to me compared to most people. They were pretty good. But then I moved back here and became a big Republican who was hardly ever on social media and stuff like that for when I was almost like, it was horrible. It was like much like the Iron Giant, like whatever they made him do somewhere else. The movie Iron Giant by Brad Bird. Then I became kind again after that. And I became very kind after that. It's like a necessary evil I had to do. That was a lot like going to like a soldier in war. but I can never say that I did that because I didn't actually go overseas. But for me, it was terrifying, and I could see I hadn't slept for 2 or 3 weeks, and I had to go out there, and I could see these hellish people. It was like a thin veil between hell and this world, and how they'd get down there and how they could bring me down there to torture me if I didn't do what they said. It was a horrible fear. Zombies were a part of it. Zombies were a part of it. They could, after, like when someone was dying, there was still life. Like when a person died back then, I believe I'm not going to die that I know of anytime soon. I'm not doing it, but there was a time when I believed, and it's not true, that when a body died, it had all the cells and the stuff in the brain, that there was still life in it and it could come back to life, and it was still living a little bit. Like after you died, I thought you could still kind of see. And there are these people who were kind of in the Illuminati that I thought could bring you down. They could easily get up to any grave, come up from the ground in almost any house out in America, and it was this world of hell under there, and they could take a body that was still somewhat living, replace it with whatever, because they had genetic technology to do anything, almost anything they wanted. They can make a clone of someone. They could clone various animals. They can make your body part animal and turn you into a slave. They made you do whatever they felt like doing to cut off your limb. They could cut off people's limbs, torture them, cut open their chest while they're still alive, totally mangle their face, burn them, torture them, constantly torture them, stick things up their asshole with all of these people raping them. It was hell. It was hell. Nothing like that was here on Earth. There's nothing like that on Earth. There's nothing like that on Earth. And it was, the worst they do to you, the worst they do to you on Earth is, not hurt you that bad. You die, the worst of it. It's not going to be that bad. But there was a hell underneath the earth that I thought in my head existed, and used that to turn me into this way overcompensating person of fear. I think that's what it was. It may not be the most appropriate thing to talk about because only one person is listening. It's like not the most fun thing. And I became a Republican. That was my fear. It was a fear that drove me as a Republican. The homophobia, the stuff like that, that they just really overpowered my mind, made me do these awful things. Or they could have brought me down to the hell and tormented me, kept my body alive for centuries, did who knows what horrors too. It was about centuries they would torture me for, I think, at the time. And so I had to become this Republican. I tried being Jesus-like to everyone. Asked Jesus for forgiveness. I was walking around with my arms sunburned in October. There's somebody watching. Arms sunburned. It was getting hot in America in October. My arms got sunburned, and something made a cut on my arm as a Christian cross in my arm, and it started burning it in my arm. And I thought I was going to have to be the second coming of Jesus. I hadn't slept in like 2 or 3 weeks. And so I kept turning the other cheek, kept being kind to everyone, everywhere I went, giving everyone the benefit, like kindness to every person. kind. Car would go by, have their window down, try to kind of slow them down and say, ask for forgiveness from Jesus Christ and you'll be saved. Did that as much as I could. And I think if I had let it kill me, I think all America would have been done for. But instead, I I woke up, I went to sleep not knowing if they're going to do all these horrors. They could put a bug in someone's ear and do shit inside their brain, like a one of those creepy, skinny things, and like really hurt me. I thought so. Out of all that fear that they would do to me, I woke up the next morning. Not I didn't. I went to sleep not knowing if I'd wake up, thinking they'd bring me down to hell, torment me. I might have to be in a bed. They'd start raping me and doing stuff like that, and then they'd bring me down to hell where it'd be really bad. And I kind of said, I said to myself, I got to stand up for myself. I hadn't eaten in a very long time. I was trying to get skinny, but I hadn't slept. So I was mentally where anyone would be if maybe anyone would be if they hadn't slept in 2 or 3 weeks. Then I was in a mental place, but I think it was particular to me. I think it was particular to me, but um, then I woke up the next morning, and that's when my brain kind of changed, and I had to again for the second time. I'd done it in 2004. This was again, I can't tell you what year it was. Um, there's certain things that I can't talk about, and um, unless hey, I don't have any of that fear of hell or any of that stuff anymore. I might be able to just tell everyone the truth. It was in the end of 2014 when I changed how things were in America. It was I woke up that morning, and instead of being kind Jesus-y, trying to save everyone I could, I thought the end of the world was going to happen. My arm was being sunburned. I had something scratched it and made a Christian cross, and I got weaker and weaker. Hadn't slept in 2 or 3 weeks, and was trying to save everyone I could. I knocked on some doors actually, and asked them to ask Jesus for forgiveness, and they should be saved. I thought the end of the world was going to happen. It was really hot in October and sunburned me. Um, and I just got weaker and weaker and weaker. And then I went to sleep with all these horrors that they were pushing on me that I thought were going to happen to me. The next morning, for the first time in 14 years as an ethical vegan, I ate fish. I tried fish, the wimpy way of eating meat. Then I went home, and I wasn't getting that much better. And I didn't know what to do to avoid the hell they were going to bring me down if I didn't do what they said. And this is a little weak way of doing it. I had never eaten meat besides that piece of fish in 14 years. And I don't know if I should tell everyone about this. I ate the cat food. I ate a piece of cat food. Trying to be mean, like I was eating a dead body. I imagine all those years I thought it was a dead animal's corpse that they tortured, and so I intentionally ate it, knowing what it was, like that the PETA showed me and all that stuff. A dead body of an innocent animal, and I ate it. It was a little piece of cat food, like a weak man's, like the people that eat meat, that you don't eat cat food. That's for the cats, not a human. You got to be stronger, right? That's what they thought, or something. So I ate the cat food. I don't want to tell you what I said at the end of it, but it wasn't a Christian thing. And then within a few days, I kept feeling weak, like they're going to bring me down to the hell if I didn't do things way different, and start working all the time instead of working on my videos all the time with all I had. And this is just a random video. I was doing music videos, my best work. and trying to fund it with whatever money I had, which was inappropriate. I had to work at a real job. So then I went out there every day. I started eating heavy meats. That was all that I could eat without being lightheaded. All that I could eat. Beans, nothing. Nothing for me. It made me feel worse. Fish, nothing. Nothing. It was like eating nothing. I had to eat all the heavy meats for, like, not all of them, but sometimes I can mix two dead bodies in one and have two big animals' dead bodies. And I imagined there was still some life in them, so I preferred it not all chopped up because I wanted it like a whole piece. This is just because I hadn't slept in so long. It affected my brain. Now I've slept perfectly. There's nothing wrong with me. I make sure to get sleep. Um, I would prefer a whole piece, like a steak, something that still had some life in it, because you like stab it. And it was terrible. I became evil, really evil. Not pure evil, not pure evil, not as bad as Hitler, but kind of like that in some ways. And it was to avoid being brought down to hell and tormented for centuries while I was still alive in these horrible ways that they showed me. And I had to. And I guess, and there are these horrible things that I did that no one ever should have to do. And I don't want my kids to know what I did, but it was in my brain, and it was according to a religion. It was in my brain, and it was according to a religion, a bad religion. Uh, and it was bad. It was me sinning intentionally as much as I could without them taking me to jail or doing anything wrong. At a political level, very specific, it had to be their way. That was all they allowed. And I got pretty powerful. I gained more muscle than I had ever had before, even when I was working out, when I was lifting as heavy as I could, when I was a jerk liberal. I gained like 20 or 30 or 40 pounds more muscle than that. I believe. Yeah, 20 or 30 pounds, even more than that, because I was eating all the meat and lifting weights. And you got to be careful eating meat because it has cholesterol in it. You got to watch the. After that, I got so far away from those horrible people who controlled my brain that when I was at this house and I had my finances all to myself and no one tried to push me, or it wasn't my parents, they were a small part of it. But when there were other people that were kind of pushing them to control me. And I started pushing my dad around because he couldn't believe how Republican I was, like more in a sociopathic, rule following businessman who hurts others way. I was more maniacal in hurting others at a huge political level by carrying out these greater magic, satanic, black magic rituals every day, a big one every day, with men, ordering men, controlling their brains to do what I said. And it was all covert. I could not, I could not let anyone be aware of what was really happening. And it was in the public eye, big satanic rituals. And at the end of the day, I'd eat the dead animals' bodies and say, "Hail Satan," every day for 3 months. And I changed the way America was back to being really right wing. And I didn't even have to vote the first little election that came up. I was terrified that they'd find me and know that I was so liberal all those years and all of a sudden I was right wing. I didn't have to vote. I changed it all. And sure enough, unanimously, that first vote, this is not something I wanted to do. That first vote came in, all Republican. Places that had been liberal for so long, Republican. on everything, whatever. I didn't understand that much about politics, but it was all Republican, way more ever, than ever. And I had changed it, but it was horrible. Then I had to go to work on hard labor to actually stand up for my parents. And somewhere in there, I became more kind, but I was still a stupid, jerk, homophobe, right wing person. And slowly I got better and better and got more kind, but I had to work really hard. And in that time, there were people when Trump started deciding to run for president, and after that, it was just after I did all this stuff, and it was 2015. I just celebrated, got a young uh, tattoo girl, had a 6-bedroom house, partied all the time for 4 months or 6 months. It was awful. It was really bad. It was like a soldier coming back from war, this horrible thing he did, and and um and getting a 21-year-old girlfriend covered in tattoos that I had sex with all the time for 4 months, unprotected or whatever. I felt like I was big, powerful, and mean. And I had a 6-bedroom house all to myself, 3 cool cars, pressured my parents into getting their number one rental house, but they're okay with it because like it was this big stuff that it was changing the whole country, and it was awful. But then I had to literally sleep on the floor. Something happened. I had to get to work. My dad was pissed because I was just partying, doing whatever the fuck I felt like, and I wasn't doing much work. And I was at that rental house, and I screamed at him. He was on the phone. He kept putting me under all this pressure and all this pressure, like I had to get to work instead of doing whatever I felt like. It was terrible. I've been very kind after that, very kind, the opposite, celibate for so long. I'll tell you about that a little later. Then I went outside and screamed at him in his whole neighborhood, his best rental house where everyone knew him. You little man. I screamed at him. These huge military helicopters, right after I screamed, came flying overhead, and a big dark cloud covered the whole house. And this was at a time when I was thinking there were real military crafts that can conceal themselves of these almost Illuminati-like people that were very powerful out there. And a huge cloud was over the house, and I was like scared. I was scared. I went into the house, and I heard footsteps land on the roof and go in through the attic. And I don't know if it was all in my mind. And then I just had to get to work. It was a really kind, good thing to stand up for my parents because I had kind of did whatever I felt like sometimes, or felt horrible, like it was going to kill me to have to work at their, when I was a weak, regular, nice person up till 2014, the end of 2014. My dad kind of made me feel awkward and stuff, and I didn't feel that great. Sometimes I felt great, and I worked and worked and worked on movies, and I was nice again. I had put some weight on. I raised a family since the mean jerk phase back in whenever. And then after I worked hard labor, 2 full-time jobs for a year and a year and a half, people were worried, and people were worried in America what could happen to minorities after those horrible things, those big rituals I did, those greater magic rituals, which made, after that was make America great. Make America great again after these huge greater magic rituals in public, ordering men around to make things the way they were in the nation again because they were controlling my brain. And it was bad. It was bad. And I went to work for a year and a half after celebrating, and it was a good thing, but it was so hard. I was barely living. It felt like sometimes it was so hard to do that hard work. like it's stuff I never was interested in. I had to teach myself more stuff so I could work on my whole house and sell it and get away from my parents because I was scared. I thought they had something to do with it, but they didn't have anything to do with it really. But I didn't want anyone controlling my finances that they could cause me to die or weaken or hurt me because I was afraid of that underground hell. And I worked and worked and worked, still kind of worried, homophobe, uh, and big Republican jerk a little bit, but kinder and kinder until I got to this house. And then I was very kind. Then something happened where all the minorities were worried in the nation. And I got less and less sleep for another 2 weeks. I went off my medicine that I've figured out now how to sleep. You just make sure to sleep. You don't drink caffeine when you're going off the medicine and stuff like that. I know how to sleep now. But I was starting to worry. My kids were in Texas, and I tried to get a car that could drive there because I was afraid to fly. I didn't want to fly. And I just liked being at this house. I had such a good time not having to work forever, just being nice and kind. I didn't think about all the evil stuff that I did anymore. I was kind to people out there, but black people were still way worried in this country. They thought, round them up, torture them, this hellish, evil stuff. And I went across country against all that, standing up for minorities everywhere I could, weakened. I went across the whole country till I was on foot, till my car didn't. I stopped driving my car. It was an okay. It doesn't matter. It was an okay car, and I had to stand up for black people in the most southern areas where they're treating them like the segregation days, about like the segregation days. They had them in the back doing the black folk cooking up the food and all that, and the white people in the front. And this is in parts of Mississippi and Tennessee and all the South. And I stood up for all of them in the public eye as much as I could and tried to influence everyone everywhere I went and make a big political statement. I tried to bring together a black couple and a white couple. I mean, not a white couple and black as friends. No, that's not it. I tried to bring together a black guy who was behind, treated like a segregated, like lingering days of the old days. It was horrible, like a segregated black person in the 60s. Tried to bring him together with a white woman in the face of these really racist white people that still exist in parts of the South that were up front. And I did these big political things in a kind, Jesus-like way, reaching out to everyone I may have hurt. And I had to be hospitalized because I got so weak. And I was in a facility where I didn't know if they'd ever let me out. Some really horrifying thing happened. I thought they're going to bring me to their hell stuff. Then I went to the facility. In the face of all that, I was kind. I was kind. I was so kind to all of them. And then after that, somehow I made it home alive. And after that, the black people and all minorities in America were okay again. They're okay. I believe it affected the whole country because I went across country trying to affect everyone I talked to, everywhere, trying to help minorities who I had before really attacked in these horrible big satanic rituals before that changed the country. Then I had to go back and make sure they were okay and nothing too bad happened to them. And now it's politically normal everywhere and it's okay and everything's good. It was like these big, bad, good ups and downs. And I feel like politically America's okay. It gives the illusion of being all right, which is all right wing and kind of is sometimes, but not to the point where they're going to really put people in concentration, horrible, hellish things. They're not going to do those things to them anymore. So it's okay in America again. I went out there and had a political influence on people. And then, I still think it's good to vote. Now I take things at a small level. I try not to get involved with politics anymore after I believe I had a huge effect contacting the head of these big people in the world who I had a mass email list of all famous people on it and stuff, send them emails back in 2004 as a liberal jerk, trying to stand up for the global oneness, everyone coming together, holding hands in peace, and all these ideas that were very kind, like a John Lennon type of thing. I did that a lot back in 2004 and 2005. I was a liberal jerk, just into lifting weights every day, mean, and but standing up for kind political ideas. Then I calmed down, gained weight a little, raised a family. I was nice again and believed in God. I found God. I went back to being kind to others. And something happened in the end of 2014 where they tried to really push me to my death. I tried to become like the second coming of Jesus. I hadn't slept in a long time and was so kind, but they were really going to torment me way worse, way worse than they'd ever torment Jesus. It was terrifying. Threatening me with, it's like a really bad fear. And they made me carry out these big right-wing things. They made me carry out these big, horrible right-wing things. However, I was so kind and Jesus-like and kind to them all after that, that I made up for it. I've come close to actually being the second coming of Jesus. I tried my best to do it. Turn the other cheek from any other thing that could be hurting me. That's what I tried to do. But if it's doing that to me now, I had another incident when they were trying to hurt me, and I'm never going to do it at a political level, but I'll stand up for myself if I have to. I'm not going to let people like try to hurt me. I'm not going to let people try to kill me. I figured out how to kind of keep living. But sometimes you just got, a human life only lasts so long. We just got to die at some point. All of us got to die, but I'm not going to die now. Like, if someone was trying to hurt me and kill me, I'd be like, what? I wouldn't even try to hurt them now. I feel so good and happy. It's like I don't feel physically weak or bad. But they were like literally trying to push me to my death for about a year now, until I became kind of a mean jerk again, not a liberal, not at the political level, that's for sure. I don't want any part of that too much unless I have to stand up for people and make sure that things are okay in America and doesn't get too horrible for anyone in this, almost anyone in this country. It's kind of, I don't want to stand up for, I'd love to stand up for, make sure it's all kind for everyone, but I don't want to martyr myself, become a martyr. So however it is out there is pretty good. They are not torturing people. They are not doing these horrible things at a political level. It's all right. The whole world is kind of all right, but mostly in America, not those shittier, not going to call it a shithole country either, but those other countries, but those shittier people who torment people and torture them, stuff like that is awful. That's bad. And we don't do that in America. America's always been pretty good. We stopped Hitler. Us and Russia put an end to Hitler. We stopped Hitler, America, because we're good. We're kind of good. We're great. We're great, but great can mean good and just standing up for yourself and being strong in nature. But that's about it. I'm a good person. I don't have anything to worry about. I kind of try to do big things politically.